Nah, we're not going to start over. They're just going to have to read my lips. Also, they missed my introduction, so. Oh well. I got to get my surroundings. I got to get my bearings. So I mean, basically, I just want to invite you guys out to talk about the power of positivity and being positive. Me and Mike run a law of attraction, positive energy, I guess we call it, group, and we used to do meetups. They were kind of on hold for a little while, but when we did them, like just afterwards, like you just felt like awesome. Like, and all we did was just sit around and just be positive. So it's like, let's do that. Except I want to talk more because I don't get to talk more in those groups. There's a lot of people that just like to talk a lot. So, so I figured if I set it up this way, now you guys have to listen to me. And as you can see, I can't even get my wife to come. So, but that's okay. I still love her. So anyways, what was I going to talk about? So I had a lot of quotes that I wanted to use, but I'm not good at memorizing quotes, so I didn't write any down. I think like every speech needs a good quote, right? So let's use the one that I just told Calvin. You know, like there's no better time than now. You know, it's like everyone's always waiting for the perfect time or the right time to do something, and there is no other time. The only time is ever now. Like even a future time, when you get there, it's now. So it doesn't matter when you do it, just do it. Like think about even like people trying to leave their jobs. What's the difference between today or 3 weeks from now? Like if you got a phone call tomorrow and you're fired, you don't have a choice and you have to figure it out, right? And most people do figure it out. So why not? Wouldn't it be easier if it was planned and you did it on purpose, you know, purposely do it? So, but that's not really about positive. We're talking about positive. So power of positivity. I got that title from Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. And he talks about how powerful being present and being in the now is, which I'll probably reference a lot in today, just because it's relevant. But the power of positivity is how I started. And it's funny because I see on Facebook, you know, Facebook gives you those like memories. Like 5 years ago, you posted this. And so like 4 and 5 years ago, like for the last like 6 months, I'm seeing all these posts from Facebook, and all it was positive quotes. That's all I posted. And I did that because everyone was always complaining on Facebook and just bitching about their lives. And I was like, I'm just going to fill Facebook with like nothing but positivity to like drown out all that crap. And that's how I started. And that's kind of like what got me here. You know, I think that was the start of it. And it was just finding positive quotes and just posting them. Like it was just that simple. And it didn't happen overnight. You know, some people just think, you know, oh, I was positive for a whole week and my life still sucks. It's like, yeah, it doesn't work that way sometimes. Like sometimes it does, but you got to believe it. You got to change your mindset, and it takes time. It takes practice. Even just me coming up and talking to you guys today, I was telling Carla, like there's part of me that was like, you're nervous. And I asked myself, I was like, why am I nervous? And it was like, I don't know, because you're always nervous when you talk in front of people, so you should be nervous. And I was just like, well, but why am I nervous? And I think it just came from what I was used to. So it's like changing that mindset, you know, changing it and being more positive. And I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? You guys all laugh at me, but isn't laughter good? So even if I suck and I fall or I trip or like kick a candle over or something, you know, it's all good. It's all positive. You know, there's nothing bad about that. So even if I fail, you guys will still get something good out of it. You'll learn that I suck and you shouldn't come and should go somewhere else. And if you learn that, then you're really lying to yourself. So, but that's okay. That was the other thing I was saying. You know, like I think I was telling Mike this. Like I could literally get up here and we could just stand and be silent, and it would probably be the best hour of your lives because you'd basically be meditating, which is awesome. And you should do it. So it's funny that people actually would prefer to hear other people talk instead of actually sitting in silence. And the meditation would actually be more beneficial. Not that the talking doesn't help, but words can only do so much. They can only say so much. Even taking notes. You know this is being recorded.
Yeah.
You don't have to take notes. I'm just joking. Take notes. Please take notes. Then you don't have to watch this again. I mean, do you really want to watch this again?
Well, I wasn't going to say that.
Well, at least click on it so I get a view, right? So I get the view count. Can I at least get that? All right. Anyways. So the power of positivity. So, I mean, like, an easy way to be positive is gratitude. Just finding things that you're grateful for. I think it's one of the most common things that I do is just finding reasons to be grateful. And if you're able to write down anything that you're grateful for, just being able to write is something to be grateful for. The fact that you're alive and you can still think and function to even be grateful, those are easy ones, right? But I think sometimes we just like forget about the simple things. And so the more you sit down and actually like write down gratitude, a gratitude list, it really builds up because you have to find new things. And it also changes your mindset, because once you start making a list of anything, your subconscious starts searching for that. So you can sit down and write a gratitude list and only write 10 things down, but then you'll walk away and like within the next hour you'll come up with other things. You're like, oh yeah, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, because that's what your mind's looking for. It's just kind of like when you buy a new car, then all of a sudden you see that same car like on the street, like everywhere. It's like everyone has my car, like how did this happen? And it's because now your focus is on that car because you own it. So, but I think that kind of goes like with the law of attraction too. Like it's in your thoughts, so you're attracting it. So being positive, I mean, being negative never has. I mean, it's never good to be negative. There's never a situation where being negative is going to help you. Worrying doesn't help. Worrying, we all know worrying doesn't. It's like most of the times when you're worrying, it never happens. You're always worried about things that never end up happening. And if they do happen, it's probably because you were so focused on that thing to happen. It happens to my wife all the time. Just the other day, she was like, she had the day off, and she was worried that someone was going to need her to sell. And then next thing you know, she gets a text message. I need to sell them. I was like, that's because you focused on that. Like, why are you focusing on? Like, you literally attracted that. Like, so you have no one to be mad at but yourself. So, speaking of that, basically, I just read a book by Jack Canfield. I probably mentioned this to some of you guys, but it's called The Success Principles. I'm still reading it, so I don't know if I can recommend it to you, but the first 15 chapters are really good. Which is like, it's like a 500-page book. But I'm kind of taking it piece by piece. But anyways, the first chapter is called just taking 100% responsibility. Like, take 100% responsibility for your life. Everything that's ever happened to you, good or bad, like, take responsibility for it. And if the thing that I got from it was, if you do that, you take back control of your life. Even the things that suck, you take back control. So the things that do suck, that means you have the option to change them. But if you allow someone else to say, like if you say, oh, well, this person made my life miserable, then you can never get that back. Because they have control over that. But if you have control over it and you take 100% responsibility, then you can change it. If something's wrong with your relationship, it's your fault. Like, it takes two, but it's your fault. Like, it's your fault to not change it or get out of it, whichever it is. So take 100% responsibility. I've been doing that, and it's funny because even some of, like, I don't really have issues with people. And I had an issue with a person, I'm not going to mention her name, some of you may know her. And the entire time I'm like, what did I do wrong? And I still can't really, like, I'm trying to take 100% responsibility, and like I see like where I may have needed to over communicate, I guess. Like, that's the only thing that made sense to me, is that I needed to over communicate. So that relationship's done, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. But going forward with other people, that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm saying more than I even think I need to. Or I'm pointing out the obvious, because I guess the obvious to me isn't obvious to everyone else. So, I mean, it's just like common sense. Like, if it was common sense, then wouldn't we all have it? Because we don't. I don't know where that came from. That's funny. You can write that down, Mark. Please write that down. Mark, are you writing that down? Oh, right. So anyway, one of the things that I did say I wanted to do, I think I'm going to bring it up now, because it's like one of the few things I actually had planned was, I did say I was going to offer 6 months of free life coaching. So for anyone that's interested, is anybody interested? No one wants free life coaching? Free? Free?
Yeah.
Free?
Absolutely.
Free.
I'll take it.
Or split it, 3 months, 3 months? I could do group coaching.
I'll share with them, I guess, yes.
Okay, so the only thing is that if you do want the free life coaching, like,
Uh-oh, here's the but.
I mean, it's free, but you know, nothing in this world is for free. There's always got to be some type of exchange, right? The only thing is you'd have to actually do your first session today.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, you're talking about in front of people, aren't you?
Kind of.
Okay, honey, you go ahead. You take the first 3 months.
So you wouldn't get out of your comfort zone in front of like 6 people just to get free life coaching? Unless, well, you already had free life coaching.
I know, it's like I could go for round 2 or not. Let's be fair.
So, all right, I'm not gonna make you get in front of the camera because we're gonna do this right now. So basically, like you know me, we've been talking. We've kind of actually done a little bit of life coaching while we're in treatments. So actually, what I want you to do is I want you to pretend that it's 2019. All right, so it's been a year.
Okay.
You've had your 6 months of free life coaching, and then we haven't talked for 6 months, which I don't think would actually happen. I don't want that. But let's just pretend we're pretending, right? So now pretend like it's a year ahead, and you're going to talk to me as if I haven't talked to you for 6 months, and tell me how my life coaching changed your life. So think about it for a second.
He wants a good testimony for the camera.
To pretend like it already happened.
Okay, I've experienced personal growth. I've become more open to other people, and rather than being suspicious or judgmental, I'm more engaging and accepting of other people, and realize that it's not all about me. And so that's created some enriching relationships.
Good. Well,
It seems like the good stuff is it's easier to come by. Let's see, what else? I've had some unexpected opportunities, surprises, and I think that that's because of the way that I look at things now. And I don't know.
That's good. That's good. See, there you just had 6 months of free life coaching. Just like that. It's like that's how easy it is though. Like I mean literally like you just sit down and just imagine where you want to be in a year. And like just talk it out as if it actually happened. And like that's it. You're done. No charge. So technically all of you can have 6 months of free life. You can do 6 years of free life coaching if you want. You don't even need to. You just gotta pretend. I mean it's like it's using your imagination, but I mean I think that's where
it changes your way of thinking.
yeah. And it's the creativity. It's like, you know where you want to go, but it's just getting there and actually seeing it happen. So, just seeing. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
You're welcome for your 6 months of life coaching. I'll send you an invoice.
Okay.
In a year.
Better say free on the bottom.
Yeah.
Paid in full.
Or you could just write me an imaginary check for years. That would be good too. Like, oh, I'm going to give him $1 million because I can afford it. I won't catch it. So anyway, so all of you guys can do that. It doesn't even have to be with me. It could be with whoever you look up to or whoever you want to be your mentor, and just kind of do that. I mean, obviously working with someone is going to be a little more impactful in the long run, but if you do it on a regular basis in practice, then you can do it on your own. Because it's just like when I'm life coaching, like if someone doesn't succeed, like I always say, like it's actually not my fault. I can only do so much. Like I can't make you do what you need to do. Like I can guide you, I can motivate you, I can keep on you, but at the end of the day, like you still have to do it. So So it's like I can't fail as a life coach. I really can't. Because I'm still, I mean, it's hard to look at it that way, but it's true. Like if you failed, then I didn't fail. Like I did everything I could, and I'm going to do everything I can to, make sure that everyone succeeds. But it's just like you didn't see Phil Jackson out on the court playing, like passing Michael Jordan the ball. Like no, he was the coach making sure that they played properly. So they still had to play. They still had to show up. So you still have to show up. All right. So power positivity. Being positive. It's funny because people think that it's actually harder to be positive than negative. And I think it's not harder, it's just easier to find excuses or find negative things than it is to see the positive, but it just depends on your mindset, because I'm to the point now where like it's hard for me to find the negatives because I've been focused on the positive so much. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot, like I don't even know where to look for negative things. I find the positive in everything. And I know I've talked about this before, just like, I can't think of a situation where there's nothing positive. Like I was just telling you guys that I dreamt that my father passed away. And even in that, I found the positive. I found that even though it felt so real that like I was upset when I woke up, but I was only upset that I lost him. Like I wasn't upset because I like regretted our relationship or that, I didn't keep in touch with him. Like I thought about all those things. So like the only regret that I had was that he was gone, which I have no control over. But I found the positives, and it was that I have a great relationship with my father. He is actually still alive, and we talk all the time. So just finding those positives, even in losing someone, which is probably one of the worst things that can ever happen to us. Finding that positive. And I say it every time, like I'm at a funeral. It's like, when someone goes, like they don't want us to sit here and be miserable for the rest of our lives. They want us to go live the rest of our lives. And if it takes someone dying for you to like wake up and be like, you know what, like I need to do something. Like I need to make a change. My mom stopped smoking because my wife's grandma passed away from lung cancer. So like if that's what it took, then that's what it took. But it's better to get that wake up call before you find out yourself. And that's one of the things I say. Like I stopped drinking 3 years ago, and like people make a big deal about it because I don't have a drinking problem. I didn't like get a DUI, so like I don't have an excuse to stop drinking. And I was like, well, why do I need an excuse? Like my wife's cousin, her husband got in a really bad car accident, and that's why he stopped drinking. So when he tells that story, everyone's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But because I haven't almost killed myself, like I'm not allowed to stop drinking. It's like, why do I have to wait for something bad to happen before I make a good change? And that's like, something that I think we should all think about, Don't wait for you to lose your job before you go get the next one. Like find it before you leave, before you get fired, if you don't want to be there. Or find, a backup plan. I was focused on leaving your job because everyone wants to leave their job. No one should have a job. We should all work for ourselves. I think it's going to happen eventually. I think we're getting to that point where we're all going to be either business owners or contract workers. Like even if a company hires you, it's like a contract for like a certain amount of time. And you're going to have to sell yourselves. Like that's pretty much what it is selling yourself. Even in a regular job with your resume and everything like that. So that's all that's happening. I have so much to say, I don't even know what to say. Drink lots of water. Water is very positive. Staying hydrated. It's very good for your body. It actually is. I actually started doing that a while back. I was drinking like 30 ounces of water every morning. It's a lot. Your stomach sometimes has to get used to drinking that much water that early, but I would literally like chug 30 ounces of water every morning. I was drinking so much water that I was actually going to the bathroom, I think, too much. But I was hydrated, so that's all that really mattered. And, number one cause of headaches is dehydration. So staying hydrated can help with headaches. It's the number one cause of cramps. When your legs cramping, it's because you're dehydrated. Right? Am I right, Mark? You're the medical guy. All right, I got the nod. I didn't Google that today. So yeah, it's so funny. I'm up here and it's like I'm running out of things to say, but I'm not, because I have
May I
so much
ask
to
a
say.
question?
Yes, please. Perfect time.
Is there a difference between, like the power of positivity and the law of attraction? Or do they just run parallel? I mean, how does the...
I'd say they probably run parallel. Like the power of positivity has a lot to do with the law of attraction. Like the law of attraction is basically what you think you attract.
Mhm.
So obviously,
But with the law of attraction, you can also attract negative things.
right.
Well, like we were talking about, Laura, it doesn't recognize the negative. So if
Yeah,
you're saying,
yeah.
I don't want to be sick,
Yeah.
you're focusing on the sick.
Or if
So
you're saying
it's-
I don't want to be broke, it's
Yeah.
just here's broke. So it just, you know. So yeah, but it is, I mean, it does go hand in hand though, because the power of positivity is, you know, it's the same as the law of attraction as far as how powerful being positive is. Because the more positive you are, the more positive you're going to attract in your life. So, but there is still the negative aspect that we have.
Right.
And it's actually, you know, even with the law of attraction, there's like the thought behind the thought. So like if you're focusing on like, I want more money, but the reason why you want more money is because you don't have money. So that's where the law of attraction comes in. You know, actually attract the lack of money. So you have to change the way you think about it. And actually, that's why I always tell people to stop focusing on money. Like money's like, it's one of the biggest things that we all focus on is, you know, wanting more money. But there's more than one way to get things. You know, they don't have to actually pay for things. You can get it for free. You can exchange services. So I always tell people, like, don't focus on the money. Focus on what you want. So like, if you want a car, focus on the car, not on the money to get the car. Because you can get a car for free. Right? You can get into a tiny accident that you're still okay, but the person's rich, and something happens and you get a new car. Just for a little example.
It could happen.
Tiny accident,
Yeah.
that, you know, no harm. You know, you don't want to attract harm. Thanks for coming. Yeah, so yeah, they do. I think they do go hand in hand, and that was kind of why I went with the power of positivity, so that I could kind of bring in the law of attraction, because I like talking about the law of attraction. Does that answer your question? Kind of, sort of. Yes, no, yeah. You look kind of unsure. I'm just gonna put you on the spot today, Carly. That was one of my goals. I was like, I gotta get someone like out of their comfort zone. And I was like, ooh, Carla's coming, so we're gonna make Carla talk. I was like, she's gonna hate me afterwards. I was like, but then like in 2 days, she's like, you know what, that was really awesome that Jason did that. Because I feel better now.
Yeah.
You're gonna be okay. You're not gonna die. Just about.
I'm thinking positive.
Think positive. No bad. No one here is here to harm you. Like everyone wants to see you succeed, just like Calvin says when you're up here speaking. Like no one actually came for me to fail. I hope not. I mean, if you did, cool. Hopefully, I disappoint you. But you know, we want to see people succeed. You know, we don't want to see everyone fall on the face. So that's a good thing. Does anyone else have any other questions? No. Calvin does. Yes.
Just a positive spin on what you just said. You just said, hopefully, I won't disappoint you. I think a positive spin was, you will not be disappointed.
You will not be disappointed. See, there you go. So I guess I got to work on my positivity too. But I am every day, so that's why I'm up here, right?
There you go.
I said, like, I said, I plan this for me. Like, you guys are just a bonus. Like, everything I do it so that I can grow. And if you grow too, then awesome. If you don't, then maybe it's just not for you, or maybe you'll figure it out later. Like sometimes we see things and it doesn't make sense at the time, and then, you know, a month, a year later, it like pops in your head, and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense now. So maybe you're not ready for it or whatever, but it'll get there eventually. What else do I want to talk about?
I took that to heart, you know, being a new teacher and things is when you said, you know, nobody is coming to these classes to see you fail.
Yeah.
And that I think that helps a lot. I've
Right.
never heard that before, but it makes complete sense.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and you had a lot of people come to your first class,
Yeah.
which means you had more support. Like, it was the opposite. It's like, it's funny because we think about that. Like, if like 2 people showed up tonight, you know, it'd be like, oh God, only 2 people showed up. But if like 30 people, I'd be like freaking out. It's like, oh my God, there's 30 people here. It's like, no, but the 30 people are here to support me, not because they want me to fail. So it's like I actually have more support the more people that show up, not the opposite. So if I had 1,000 people, well, we wouldn't be able to fit in here. But that would just mean that it should be easier for me to do it because I have much more support. So yeah. So it's funny because I actually took that from Calvin's little presentation about speaking, kind of twisted it to, you know, it's the same thing when you're teaching. Like, they just come to practice and to support you and support the studio. So no one wants to see you fail. So it's a good thing. Just like no one wants to see me fail, but I don't think I can fail. Like I said, I could just make you guys meditate for a little bit and we'll be fine. You know, meditation is a positive thing. Let's talk about that since I keep bringing it up. I mean, meditation and just being in the present moment, it just makes life easier. It takes away the worry. It takes away, you know, the regret of anything that you've done in the past or what's going to happen in the future. Like, you're just completely in the now, in the present, and just focusing inwards. And when you're doing that, like, there's like no room for negativity. Actually, Wayne Dyer said something, and I know I'm going to butcher this because I always do. I probably should look up the quote, but he basically said something like, you know, when you're in a dark room, dark being negative, and you light a candle, like the negative light isn't drowning out the candle's actually shining through the negativity. So the positive candle, that little candle is shining, you can see it all the way on the other side. So even when people say like, oh, I don't like being around negative people because they have negative energy, like, I look at it as my positive energy is actually drowning out their darkness. It's like it doesn't affect me. So it's a positive spin on that. You know, it's funny, I actually grew up in obviously I grew up in right? Growing up, my mom just always said, like, I have an answer for everything, and I turned that into, like, I have a positive for everything. So it's like, anytime someone says anything, I'm the one that's, like, turned it into a positive. Like, Carla couldn't make it to one of our Reiki sessions. She slept in. I was like, well, that's because you needed sleep. Like, that's good. Like, it's okay that you missed it.
and she does need sleep.
Right. And that's like, what, obviously your body knows what's more important than I do, so you needed sleep that day, so enjoy the sleep, don't worry about it.
Well, you know, it was nice that it was you because you're so positive and understanding, but also the thing about taking responsibility for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I beat myself up. You know, because to me, you're like, hey, your body needs to sleep, but to me it was like, you know, that was rude, that was not, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I ended up beating myself up over it.
But it's okay. No one was harmed.
I need to learn how to be a better friend to myself.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be too hard. You do have to responsibility for everything, but you don't have to be hard on yourself about it. Just understand it's like it happens. For our 1-year anniversary, I was supposed to do a meditation at the end of the class, and I didn't show up because I was sick. And like I was kind of mad at myself, but my stomach was messed up, so if I were here, I still wouldn't have been able to do it because I probably would have been in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. So I would have actually done a disservice to show up, right? Because I wasn't feeling well, and
Yeah.
I would have been uncomfortable even trying to do it or whatever. So
But the 1-year anniversary was still pretty awesome.
exactly. See, it was awesome without me. But that's the thing. Like and if you didn't know that I was supposed to be there, then you didn't miss it either. But I know like it was announced, but I didn't know that people knew. I thought it was a secret, but anyways. So yeah, power of positivity, being positive. What's an easy way to be positive? Smiling is easy, right? And it looks good on you. I'm gonna quote everybody. I'm gonna try to quote everyone at some point. Mike always says that. Smile and it looks good on you, something like that.
Feels good and it looks good.
Feels good and it looks good, yeah. And it actually takes less muscles to smile than it does to frown. So it's easier. It's physically easier to smile than it is to frown. And it does feel good. Try it. See. Another way to be positive is to call me. I always say that. No one ever does. Like, I'm waiting for like the day when someone's like actually like, oh my god, like it just never happens. No one ever wants to call me. I'm like, you can call me. I don't care. I'll listen. I think it's because they know that I'm just gonna say something positive. When people are like in a bad place, they don't want the positive people. I've noticed that even on Facebook, like when someone's complaining, if I try to say something positive, it's like, get away from me. Like, you're supposed to be part of my pity party. Like, this is not. I'm not looking for like help. I want to suffer in this. I want to suffer with me. You know, misery loves company.
Yeah.
So I block those people. I've actually gotten in fights on Facebook over stuff like that, trying to give someone perspective. But you know, I guess they get it now, so they didn't get it at the time. But it took a while to set it.
Question.
Oh, I thought you were pointing. I was like,
In life coaching, do you ever point to the negative in trying to get someone to think about the positive?
yeah.
And how so?
So like I actually did this with one of my clients. She had 3 goals that she wanted to achieve. So I said, which goal do you think you won't achieve? Like which one out of the 3, if like, you know, you had to look forward, like which one would you just know you're gonna fail at? And she picked one of them, and then I was like, all right, so tell me why. And she started like kind of coming up with excuses, and before we were done, she actually like figured out how to get that one done before the other 2. So it was like just flipping it around and like just looking at just the excuses or, oh, well, I don't have time and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I have done that, like just kind of look at it from a negative way. And then, because I think that's what it is too, is I love to hear the excuses because I can just like cancel out any excuse. I got an answer for every excuse you have. Even like I think one of the biggest excuses that people use is they have kids. And I'm like, that should be your biggest excuse to follow your dream, to show your kid that you can follow your dream. Like I get that there's the financial thing, but that should be your motivation, to show them that you can do it and they should do it too. Because like I think, especially when it comes to parenting, I said this in my video kind of, but you know, I had parents that smoked but told me smoking was bad. And so it's like do as I say, not as I do, but you're still doing it. So how bad is it if you're still doing it? You know, so it's like even parents telling you, follow your dream, but I hate my job and I'm going to stick this dream out for you. And then I grow up and have kids, and then I'm thinking the same thing. Well, now I got to stick a job out so that they can follow their dreams. But it never happens. So it's another negative way to flip it, but yeah. Did I answer your question?
It did.
Okay.
I have a follow-up. Flip question. How would you, or could you, accentuate the positive to show a negative?
Accentuate the positive to show a negative. Give me an example.
That's the question. I don't have an example.
Oh, you want me to give it? How do I accentuate the
Well,
positive?
one example, but I think this is kind of basic. You know, I like to drink.
Yeah.
You know, makes me feel good. I like the drug, makes me feel good. That's easy to show the negative, okay, the effects of it. But in your life coaching, is there a way that you could flip that?
That's a tough question. Look, I'm just supposed to be up here talking. I'm not supposed to answer questions. Forget the whole question thing.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I like that you're actually challenging me. I never really thought of it that way. I've never had that situation come up, so I can't think of how I would do that.
Next session we'll talk about it.
Huh?
Next session.
Next session we'll talk about it. All right. Yeah. Let me think about it. Thank you though. I appreciate that.
Fair enough.
It's good to know that I don't have the answer for everything. I have an answer for everything, but I don't have the answer for everything.
I'm all stepped up, so I could only hear bits and pieces of it, so.
You listen to the recording.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Can you repeat the question, Calvin?
The question was the flip side of the earlier question. How, in your life coaching, how could you use the negative to
Accentuate the
the
positive.
positive, right?
Oh. And then the example that was used?
The example was kind of basic and not really good, but the example was, I like to drink.
Yeah.
I like to drug. It makes me feel good. That's the negative.
Right.
And how would you accentuate the positive in it?
Yeah.
I think that was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which okay, so it's now it makes sense to me now that I heard it again. So I mean, basically, like if someone says like, well, I don't know how to stop drinking, it's like, well, drinking's so great for you. Like you get blackout drunk and you know you can crash your car and you can kill yourself. Like those are awesome things you should be doing in your life, right? Is that what you mean? Like kind of like I'm showing how ridiculous the negative is to make it positive.
I guess you
I know.
could say that.
Or I could just do it that way too. Is that your third question?
No.
No,
But I was just thinking, if you're thinking about positive and negative,
Mhm.
if you can use one to show the other, then should you not be able to flip that
Right.
and show this one to show that one?
Yeah.
And
Right. So that means that kind of does that, right?
Yeah.
You know, like drinking. I don't know. Drinking is just a good example because I don't drink anymore, but that's why I stopped drinking. 'Cause it was like all the money, like think about all the money you spend while you're drinking, and it's so good for your liver. You know, you get a healthy liver, and it kills brain cells. It actually hurts every single organ in your body at some point. I did a whole speech on that in college. So yeah, you could point out or like I have this stressful job that I don't want to leave. It's like, oh, well, don't you enjoy getting up every morning and being stressed and dealing with ignorant people? And like, so why wouldn't you want to just continue staying in that environment instead of looking for something better, right?
That's a good one.
Okay, there you go.
I can relate
With
to
all
that.
with all the condescending boss, like, don't you just love when they talk down to you like that and think that you're 3 years old?
I can relate to that one.
Oh, I hope she doesn't watch this. Thank you, Calvin. Does
Joe.
anyone else have any other
Joe.
questions? Or do you have a third? Huh?
My name's Joe.
Oh, your name's Joe? Oh, yeah, that's right. So I shouldn't say hi, Kathy. What's the worst that can happen? Let's look at that. What's the worst case scenario? She would fire you? Would that be that bad?
No, I wouldn't.
She'd do you a favor.
Yeah.
I used to just ran into a coworker. We had Joe. I don't know if you remember Joe Jasso. But he got fired, and he actually was just getting ready to close on a house. Got fired. It's like, sounds like the worst thing, like getting ready to close on a house. He was engaged, and he ended up finding a better job, like within months. And actually, that house fell through, and he got a bigger house and a nicer house. So it was like, at the time, it's like, oh my God, I lost my job. Like, it's so horrible, but it actually turned out to be a blessing. Which every time someone gets let go from that company, I'm like, they're doing you a favor. Like, it's just, they're doing what you couldn't do on your own. So that's why I decided to quit, because I didn't want to let them have control over that. I wanted control of walking out on my own, enjoying that. So it's a good feeling. You'll love it.
I look forward to it.
I have a question. This kind of works with the example that you just gave. So your friend lost his job, he was going to close on the house, and in the meantime, he's got to find another job and find another house. So there's a void, there's an interim period.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like myself personally, I am in the interim period from one part of my life to another, which we won't go into right now. So it's like, how can you stay positive when you know the outcome can be absolutely awesome and you can have something better and you want something better, so you're kind of okay that it fell apart anyway? But how do you stay positive and not let that negative take you over during this transition period to the better house, the job, the better car, the better neighborhood, the better man, the better whatever? It's like, how do you continue to hold that vibration or hold that frequency of, I got this, everything's great, I'm given enough gratitude, and not let yourself be sucked back into, but I can't pay my phone bill next week, but it'll be okay. You know, like, how do you do that? How do you stay there?
Like for me, I always like on reflecting, like how like you got to this point, right?
Sorry.
Like you
Stop
got-
giving me your energy too. Just cut that off for a little while. It hurts.
All right.
Thank you.
So I mean, think about how you got this far, right? To get to that transition period. Like this isn't the first time you've had this, right? And you survived that one. So it's like looking back and seeing like, you know, like there's been a time where I've lost a job, but I found another job and it's all been okay. Or, you know, this has happened, or this person's left me, or this is, you know, this, whatever it is. There's always, you know, I mean, wherever we're at in our lives, it hasn't happened once. It's happened multiple times. There's been lows, and we've all made it. We're here, right? So to me, it's more about just looking back and seeing the history of like, all right, I've made it. I'm still alive. I'm still here. Means there's still more for me to do.
So basically you're saying look at the track record.
Yeah.
And try to focus on, well, I've come this far, we've done it, we've overcome,
Yes.
we can keep going. But at what point do you stop? Because you know, people say sometimes like, don't look back. Sometimes it isn't helpful, sometimes it is. Sometimes
where
because
you're
we need to
looking.
take responsibility,
Yeah.
you know, and assess the situation. But sometimes I feel like it's also hindering when you do look back, and it's like, at certain points I feel stuck, like, oh my God, I want to turn and look towards the positive now,
Yeah.
or just turn the train around. But it's like I feel like I'm being pulled towards the, well, okay, we're gonna get through it, we've done it before, you know, it's like, can we stop looking at that though and just
Yeah.
finally let's go look for the new job, or let's go look for the positive, let's go look for the blessing that's supposed to be coming. So I think that's what I'm having trouble with too, because I'm not saying that's not good advice,
Right.
because it is, and it is smart to look at prior, but it's like, how can we pivot easier? Because you can only, and in my experience, and I'm not trying to be a jerk, but you can only write so many I'm thankful fors down a night before you're like, yeah, that's great, but I still need a new house.
Right.
I still need a place to live, you know, my kids still need blah, blah, blah. And yeah, we'll overcome, but so it's like trying to stay positive in that yes, but period of time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I mean, the only thing is, like, yeah, writing stuff down and being positive and, you know, sharing positive posts, there are obviously, like, good things to do. But, I mean, part of the law of attraction, like, even in the word attraction is the action, you know, so it's
Yeah.
like doing something. So, I mean, if you're just going to sit in your house and hope that everything's going to work out, it could happen, but it may not happen as fast as you'd like it to, as if you were actually doing something, you know. And it's even like, you know, it's like kind of like even doing like the act as if, you know, whatever job you want, act as if you already have it. Like get up in the morning, what time you should go to work, and pretend like you're actually getting ready. You know, get ready for work as if you already have that job, and, you know, drive there, and like in your head, and, you know, really just be in that. And, you know, eventually it'll actually happen. So it just takes time. It's hard to tell though. It could turn around tomorrow, or it could take a year. It's just patience, which sucks.
Yeah.
There's no definitive answer. That's the problem. You know, it's there. The signs are probably there. You know, I think we always get signs like every day. We always know. I would say we always know the answers to like our issues and problems, because like people like come to me like and they have a problem. And they're like, I already know what you're going to say. It's like, well, then why do I have to say it? Like if you already know what I'm going to say, that means you already know what you need to hear. But yeah, people want to hear it. They want confirmation, or they want, you know. So listen to yourself. You already know the answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Oh, question/comment.
No, that's right.
Have you also found it useful to change the verbiage in your own day-to-day? Because remember how you said, I don't want to be broke. And you know law of attraction just says, sees broke and goes, well, here you go.
Yeah.
You know, so for you, has it been beneficial? Because I know for myself, at least, trying to look at those common things that we say on a daily basis and go and stop it mid-sentence and go, no, we're going to say,
Yeah.
you know, I have everything I need. Or I'm so grateful for the money that's in my bank account. Or come on, bank account, I'm ready for you to be filled up right now. You know, for you, has it been beneficial to kind of change your own dialogue to help stay more positive? Or do you see that maybe you slip back into the old, I don't want to be broke?
No, I find that it helps, because even like with, you know, trying to like plan a vacation or something, instead of saying, oh, I can't afford that, it's like, you know what, it's not in the budget. Like, that doesn't mean we can't afford it, it's just not in the budget, because I mean, we could go on vacation and not pay the mortgage this month, you know, so it's an option, but it's not in the budget. Like, our money is budgeted for something else, so it's like, it's not in the budget. But then also just like asking like, well, how can we afford it, or how can we make this happen? You know, sometimes you'll get those signs too, like, how can we do this? And I wish, like, that's why I'm like recording these like videos and trying to keep track of what I'm doing, because I don't even know how it works for me. Like, even just, like, we're planning a trip to Europe for next year for our 10-year anniversary, and then I got an opportunity to go to Europe for free this year. So it's still not official yet, but I'm not that on the video. But that came to me. I didn't even look for that, you know, and I don't know how that happened, but it was just me being me, and just, that's why I say, like, just living in the moment, like, being present, and just being as close to me as I can. You know, just being as authentic as I can, and just living in that, and that seems to work. But yes, changing like I do it a lot. I correct what I'm saying. And I think it helps, because it even just makes you aware of, like, when you're saying something negative, like, wait, no, that's not what I want to say. I got to change this. I got to make it better. So it definitely helps. Or even just like, my favorite is like, it's getting better. Like, every day is better than the last, you know. And then when you really start to see that, then you'll start to believe it. Like, yeah, yesterday is, you know, today is better than yesterday, which means every day when you wake up, you know it's going to be better. So.
That expectation.
Yep. Yeah, you expect it to be better, and you will. You're welcome. Anyone else? No? You guys just came here to listen to me talk? It's kind of boring. Does anyone have anything good to share? Like, anything good happened to someone this week? That was just like, just want to share. Anything? Besides waking up. That's an obvious one. Nobody had anything good happen to them this week. I'm the only one.
There's been so much that I can't say one thing.
All right. Has anything good happened to anyone this past Wednesday? Does that help? If I break it down to one day.
My Thursday was pretty nice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
No, I'm just, we're not talking about Thursday. We're talking about Wednesday. How was your Thursday? Let's go with Thursday.
It was great. Someone treated me to lunch, which was nice. I didn't see that.
Awesome.
And gave me a gift, which I also didn't see coming. So that was a really nice surprise.
Good.
And it wasn't someone who, it's someone who I know, but not, we haven't gotten a chance to get together before. Why? I'm not sure. Our children are friends, and she asked me to lunch, and it was very nice, to be honest. It was not anything that I really expected, and I'm glad we did it.
Awesome.
So, I needed that.
Good.
Yeah,
You deserve
she
it.
did too.
Kyle, you got anything?
Yeah, I always have something. I've been asked to, on Wednesday, I was asked to give the Memorial Day observation speech at work.
Oh, nice. See, so even it's a
outside
place,
by
you still
the
get
flagpole. So I've been doing research on Memorial Day and never really thought about it in those terms of, you know, what it means and the sacrifice that was given, both by the people in the armed forces around the world, at home, and their families. So I'm trying to put all that together in 5 minutes of meaningful words.
Cool. So it's awesome. Even though you're in a negative environment, you still get positive opportunities. So maybe your time's not quite done there.
Maybe. That's the way I'm looking at it.
That's the way I look at it.
I'm there
too.
for a
It's like,
reason, you know.
Like, if I, you know, when I'm ready to go, I'll go. But obviously, there's still some unfinished. So that's good. That's awesome. Yeah, Memorial Day is a big one. My brother-in-law's actually in Afghanistan right now, so for his 4th tour. But his wife's actually taking it well. She's actually running like the support group for all the wives and the one husband for their group, which is helping her kind of focus on that instead of worrying about him. Which is like another, when it comes to law of attraction, I'm like, do not worry about the bad things that can happen to him. Like you're just gonna attract them. Like, so it's just he survived 3, he'll survive the 4th one, he'll be home. It's only 9 months. So yeah, that's a tough one though. You know, it's people. Well, I don't think it's tough. People think it's tough to kind of focus on the positive when there's just so much negative. You know, you hear more about the bad things that happen and people being brought over in a box instead of all of the troops that come home regularly that survive and are okay. So
That's true with everything.
it is.
I think people have a tendency to focus on the negative rather than the positive.
And that's why I don't watch the news.
It's so easy to remember the negative too, you know. It's like you ask a simple question like, what good happened this week? It's like, well, I can tell you like 10 things I didn't like, but, you know.
And I think that has a lot to do with like just our survival instincts. Like we kind of focus on the bad things so that they don't happen again. Like the good things you don't have to worry about because they were good. They happened. You know? But I think sometimes we can take them for granted too. You know?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure everyone's had like tons of good things happen to them this week. They just either don't want to say them or can't think of them.
Well, it's just like in service jobs, like a waitress gives you bad service. You're more willing to complain than if somebody gave you really great service. You're less likely to
It's a compliment.
tell the manager, hey, they did a great job, or
Yeah.
write a letter or something like that. I think it's just, it's almost, I want to say human nature, but I don't like that.
It's trained human nature. You know, it's even like I say like with our reviews, like most of the reviews you get online, like it's either 5 stars or 1 star, because the only time that people will ever give a review is when it was amazing or when it was horrible, and there's never like, oh, it was good.
Yeah.
So it's so like lopsided, and even like sometimes I'm reading the Amazon reviews and it's like 5 star, 5 star, 5 star, and then the 1 star is like, oh, the box had a hole in it when it was shipped to me. It's like, that has nothing to do with the product. Like, how? But we're gonna complain about that. You
Most
know?
of the product was the box.
Right. Then you shouldn't buy boxes on Amazon. You should go pick your boxes up so you can see what the quality is and have them shipped to you. But yeah, you're right. I think it is like, it's just not human nature, but it's how we're programmed.
conditioned that way,
Conditioned,
maybe?
yeah, it's a condition. And that's why I say, like, even like watching the news, I think like when you watch the news and it's just nothing but bad, like that's what your subconscious sees.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, this is reporting what's going on in the world, and everything's bad, so that means everything must be horrible in the world. You know, and that's just the outlook we get. So that's why I try not to focus on negative like that. There needs to be like a good news. I know there's a couple like small like podcasts or something that do all they do is report good news, but there needs to be more of that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we don't celebrate the good as much as we focus on the bad. All right, I'm done. I'm just kidding. What time is it?
It's 4:12.
See, this is the nice thing. I didn't have a time limit. I mean, I scheduled it for 3 hours, but I never intended on keeping you guys here for 3 hours. I mean, unless you guys wanted to stay, we could.
Why is it 3 hours?
Huh? 3 hours.
I gotta bounce right now, anyways. I gotta pick up the kids.
Oh, that's fine. Family
The
first.
kids.
Family first. You gotta blame it. Yeah, blame it on the kids. Blame it on the kids.
Those
Sometimes you can't get around.
You know, sometimes I want to hit the kid just for that. It's like, because it's like, man, like, how do I get out of this party? If I had a kid, I could be like, oh,
What about Aiden?
we got kids.
More likely.
Like, oh, I gotta watch my nephew. There you go. Like, I gotta watch my nephew.
That is the best part about bringing kids to the party.
That's the best part about having kids.
Everyone wants you to leave.
You got an excuse,
You have an
like,
excuse.
These kids are
You have an
misbehaving, we're
excuse.
out.
They're just sitting there, just.
I've actually seen that happen before. Like, he's just being ridiculous. I'm like, he's quiet. What are you talking about? He's fine.
How do you know why?
Like, no, he's bad, come on, let's go. It's like, I mean, but like, to me, like, that's like just, I don't know, like, you're still lying, like, be honest. You don't want to come, if you want to go, you can go. Like, no one's keeping you
I'm
here.
just waiting to see where she's at.
You please, no, it's fine.
Well, speaking of law of attraction,
Yeah,
with the ex-wife, I don't know if exes or whatever, but it was always negative, you know, always very, very anxiety-filled if you got a text from them or something like that, or dealing with the kids, you know, so while very positive person, but for some reason that was just a negative void, right? So I flipped the script and I said, you know what, I'm just going to be very grateful for her taking care of the kids, right? So started putting that out there, and then slowly but surely all of a sudden text started to get nicer. You know, things started to calm down, and now it's like that relationship to do with the kids got a lot better. So a lot of times we just put that negativity out there that we don't realize that we're causing the things that are coming in, when you can just put it out there. And I know it takes two, but you can be that, like he said, light the candle inside the dark room, right? You could be that positive force that changes the other person's energy towards you. So that's my little flip
I like
the
that. I like
script
that.
on that one. So,
yeah, I do that too. You know, it's funny. We all have people that are in our lives that are probably like difficult people, right? And when you go to see them, like, you're already prepared for them to be difficult. So think about that. Like, your attitude towards them is that they're a difficult person, and if you treat them as if they're a difficult person, like, how do you expect them to react to you? You know what I mean? Like, if you show up somewhere and you expect someone to be just that miserable person, and then they are, like, why would you be mad? Like, they're exactly what you wanted them to be. They're exactly what you expected them to be. But if you go in and be like, you know what, maybe today they're going to be in a better mood. And then you see them and then they're actually in a better mood. It's like, holy cow, like, how'd that happen? Like, you happened. Like, that's what happens. So it is. Like, it's the exact same thing, you know? Just, it's the way you treat the situation. Like, you can only control your side, but you'd be amazed how often that happens. I did it at our company all the time. We had a couple of difficult people, and I just treated him, you know, it's like, oh God, every time I call him, he's going to yell at me. And I was like, you know what, like, he's not yelling at me. There's got no reason to yell at me. So I call him, he doesn't yell, and we get along. And people are like, how do you get along with him? Like, because I treat him that way, like, not, you know, it's if you treat someone, you know, they act the way you treat them.
be one with the force.
Yes.
All right. On that note, good seeing y'all.
Nice seeing you.
Thanks
Stay
for coming out.
positive.
Yes.
Enjoy the beautiful,
Enjoy your
not so
vacation.
hot day, but it'll be warmer sometime.
Enjoy
Good
your,
job, Jay. You did good, man.
enjoy your vacation.
I will. See you guys.
See you
Bye.
see you in a month.
I know, like, I still gotta send that email for Thursday.
You got time.
Yeah. I'll send it out Thursday morning.
There you go.
Later.
Anybody wants? No? We're good? So, I mean, we're not done, but I don't know, like, does anybody else have anything they'd like to share, talk about, ask about, curious about me, anything personal? I don't care. We can talk about meditation, we can talk about Reiki, we can talk about life coaching, we can talk about positivity.
How's our Reiki masterness going?
It's going really good, actually. It's, you know, it's funny because, I don't know if it's just my conditioning, but it feels like it's magical to me still. Like, it's just like, I can't believe this is actually happening. I just had a client, what was it, like last week, so it was her and her mom, and her mom was like skeptical about it, did it anyways, and then actually when she was done, she went downstairs to get her daughter, and I heard them kind of talking, and she was like, I don't really believe in this shit anyways, like, I don't know why you had me do this. And I was just like, okay. So then, just a couple days ago, she came and told my wife, she was like, yeah, my mom had restless leg syndrome, and since the treatment with Jason, she's been sleeping like a baby. So, I'm like, so even if you don't believe in it, this is what I always say, like, I always tell my wife, like, no matter how negative you are, like, my positivity is going to cancel out your negativity. I'm like, so you just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll be okay, because I'm just that positive. So,
That's exciting.
so yeah, so it's so that's actually 2 people that I fixed their restless leg syndrome apparently. So now that's my specialty. That's gonna be my niche. I'm just so Reiki for restless leg syndrome. I'm just gonna.
Well, Well,
You know, but it is.
among other things.
No, I know. That's
that-
just
that
that's my
I've
focus.
benefited from.
Yeah, but it's no. And I'm just saying. I just have two people that have had the same thing. That's I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, I know I get it like from an energetic standpoint. You know, it's just interesting to learn how we hold on to our memories and our feelings and how they can have such a negative effect on us. And even like I hurt my shoulder, I dislocated it, and for like years like had issues. And even after it healed, it was still an issue until like energetically I fixed it, because it was like still like holding on to that memory, holding on to that negativity.
Which one?
My left shoulder.
We'll
Why?
talk about that later.
Why, you can tell?
We'll talk about it later.
I actually just had a Thai massage, and he like, they really work on your range of motion, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna put your arm. I was like, I don't think my arm goes that way, but we'll try. Like, I was trying to be positive.
Okay.
And after he did it, like I was doing things with this arm that I haven't done in 10 years. So,
Exciting.
so it was a good thing. He's coming to our studio soon too. 2 weeks. I think he actually still has a couple spots open. $10 for 30 minutes. Thai massage.
When?
Um,
Weekend?
It's what day? Do you know what day it is?
That was
25th.
25th. It's a Saturday.
2 weeks
Oh, and
today.
he actually said, because Mark, you can't make it, right?
No.
He said reach out to him, and he'll actually honor it at his place.
I think you should just stop by your house.
All right.
When is it?
The 26th.
26th,
2
yeah.
weeks from today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so even if you can't make it that day, I would reach out to him because he'll still honor. Just mention Soulflow, and he'll give you a $10 massage. 30 minutes. I actually
Is
do
it
an
up early?
hour massage for $20, but
But I should be.
He has spots up in the afternoon, like I think Melissa said, like 2 or 3 years.
Really?
yeah,
Contact
yeah,
me.
he still has like at least 3 spots, I think. I don't know if they're filled or not, but
Okay.
yeah, reach out to me. That's good. So that's another thing. Take care of yourself. Pamper yourself. That's always a positive thing. Even
I don't know
sometimes.
how you get past, the thing I've got is, how do you get past the discomfort, your own discomfort or your own pain in order to, medicate yourself with Reiki? How do you,
Get past like what discomfort.
like, if you're hurting, okay, for me, it's hard to focus, like this cold, this stupid cold. So when it was at its worst, I couldn't focus on anything, because I've just got a full head, I'm really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to get past that in order to focus enough to meditate, much less do Reiki.
Yeah. Well, Reiki should be easier than meditating. So the only reason, honestly, the only reason it's hard for you to get past it because you said it is.
Right, it's how often were you telling yourself that you were miserable? How often were you telling yourself that you had this horrible cold?
Constantly.
Yeah. So you're attracting it. You're focusing on it. You're keeping it there.
And you're still sick.
So Reiki should be easy. Honestly, you're channeling it. Like it's no effort. So it's as simple as saying, I'm channeling this energy to heal myself, and just let it happen, and it'll heal yourself. And it doesn't matter how hard it is for you because the energy will do its thing, regardless of how much you're focusing on it or not.
The moment you sent Jason a text, you like, I really need some extra energy today.
I was gonna say you can also do distance healing.
I do that with my Reiki master all the time.
Do you?
Tons of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do distance healing. I can give you distance healing. I'll send you some energy.
What kind of energy to reach?
I've got plenty.
Just be ready to get a bunch of texts. Be ready.
I just
Here
said
they
no one
come.
calls me. No one calls me when they have any problems.
Here, I'll send it right now.
The other night I couldn't sleep. I'm like, I wonder if Jason's up. He says he doesn't sleep.
I probably was. If it was before 4 o'clock in the morning, I was probably up. I actually went to bed early the other night. I think it was like 2 something. The wife noticed
Yeah.
that.
We're on the
She's like,
same
"Man, you went to
schedule.
bed." She's like, "You came to bed early." I was like, "It was like 2:15, I think. It's not really early, but
For you, it is. That's what I
yeah."
did. Mark even says, oh, you came to bed at 2.
What time do you sleep?
So yeah, that's
I-
my request right out.
I,
About the Reiki.
my
Yeah.
Yeah.
circadian
Vibratory
rhythm
house
is
for you.
Yeah,
It's
it's
exciting.
It is exciting. It's definitely interesting to learn and discover it. And, you know, I just want to heal.
See, I sleep better
But
during the
everybody's not
day.
ready, or people aren't open for
I
it.
just wish everybody.
Even my
was
dad,
on that same
he's just
shift,
very
because, then it would be quiet.
closed-minded when it comes to that thing.
Wonderful.
But he's having a lot of medical issues, and he's not getting the results he
But then they
wants.
start taking the dogs.
Because I was actually just talking the other day, and I kind of smiled, and it wasn't because I was like happy that he was struggling. I was happy because I think he's closer to actually letting me try. Because he's been dealing with like several issues for years, and the VA is just using him as a test dummy. You know, just like, oh, well, we'll try this, even though I don't think it has anything to do with that. So, yeah, it's like where the medical students go to practice is the VA. That's pretty much how our government's set up.
Oh, he goes to Heinz.
Yeah, he goes to Heinz. And he actually goes to the nice
That's
Heinz.
the
Like,
local.
yeah. So,
What's the shortest like time frame to do a Reiki session?
the shortest time frame, I mean, you could do one in 15 minutes. It's really, I mean, you could actually probably do them shorter than that. I don't like to. I only do like a full session, which is like 45 minutes to an hour. But you could. Huh? Did you say like 5 minutes?
On yourself.
Oh, well, yeah, like on yourself.
Reiki, go to the bathroom.
Like if I have like a pain in my neck, like I'll just like, you know, put my hand in my neck for like 5 minutes. So I mean, I could do that for someone else as well. But I think in the long run, like it's more effective to like really like go through and like really clear the negative energy and work on all the chakras and do that. So that's why I don't offer that. I'm not here for a quick fix. Like I want the long term. Like I don't. You know, it's like yeah, the neck pain will be gone for a day and then it'll come back because I didn't get a chance to fully heal whatever the real issue was. So you're welcome. Anything else? Carmen?
Yeah.
I think I got
I'm
you to
waiting
talk.
for you.
I got you to talk way more than I even thought you were going to talk today. So I'm proud of myself. I'm gonna pat myself on the back.
He knows you very well.
I told Melissa, I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get Carla to talk today." She's like, "Are you really?" I was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get her to talk." Got to get you out of your comfort zone. I think everyone needs to get out of their comfort zone. And like once you're out of your comfort zone, like it makes it so much easier the next time and the next time.
It does,
It
it
does.
does.
One of my favorite quotes is, no good things come from a comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
or you can't grow unless you leave your comfort zone,
Yeah.
or, there's different
It is.
variations.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's true. I mean, like when you're in your comfort zone, that's when you're
You're just stagnant.
stagnant. And you're comfortable. You don't want anything to change. 'Cause you just like to. I don't know. It's like
That's
it's
why
the
I
fear of the
kind of
unknown.
like that in a way. I'm comfortable there.
I think that's why everyone like focuses on failure too. Like even like anytime you're doing something, like usually you know what happens if you fail, but you don't know what would happen if you succeed. Like you're not sure exactly like how big it could be, which is scarier than failing. Right? Like if I make a $5,000 investment in something, if it fails, I know I'm losing $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
But if it works, I could make 10, 20, 30, 50, 100. It could change my life. But that's scary because I know I can lose $5,000. So it's like a different way of just looking at it. Just jump. I think Steve Harvey did like a talk on that. He said, just jump.
I wrote a book.
Did you write a book on
Yeah,
it
I
too?
wrote a book.
I don't know. Read
Got the listen, what is that
The
called?
audio.
Yeah, the audio.
Audible.
It was pretty good.
Audible.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, just jump.
Mhm.
Just do it now.
Right, because like I
You
said,
don't need to read the book.
like what's the perfect time to do something? Now. It's the only time to do it. If you have an idea, you have something you want to do it. Because if you don't do it, someone else will do it.
That was one of your videos that you did, like around New Year's, where you said, well, why wait till New Year's to quit smoking or
Yeah,
exercise?
it drives me crazy. I can't stand New Year's. I mean, I get it, New Year's resolutions, but the people that usually use a New Year's resolution, like what they do to themselves in December, it's like it takes a whole year for you to cancel out what you like. You quit in January, like like all right, after this, I'm done. I'm on a diet. Like Christmas and New Year's, though, I'm pigging out. It's like, well, why? Like, if you already, like, once, like, to me, it's like, it's easier to actually stick to something if when you decide it, that's when you do it. Like, if you decide, all right, I'm gonna stop eating tomorrow, like, I'm gonna stop eating sugar tomorrow. By the time tomorrow comes, it's like, oh, well, today sucks. Like, let's go, maybe next week. We'll start Monday. You know, so you'll keep putting it off. So it's like once you make, like when I quit drinking and eating meat, I woke up one morning and I told the wife, and we actually had food that we had to get rid of because I was like, I'm just not eating it. Like it's not like, all right, we're gonna clean out the fridge, and I dumped out alcohol. I'm not proud of that, but I don't care because I don't drink it. I actually dumped out. No, I didn't dump out the Patron. I gave that to somebody. I gave away my good alcohol. My father-in-law still, but see, like some of it, my father-in-law still has sitting 3 years later, 3 years old. It's not like good wine. It doesn't like age well. It's just, but yeah, I got rid of it. It wasn't like, all right, once all of this is gone, then I'll commit to it. Once I made that decision, I did it. So, not that I haven't had a drink since then. I haven't been drunk since then. I've only had a couple drinks. I had a birthday shot.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah, I'm still, yeah. But you can do heroin in moderation. I always use that. Every time someone says like everything in
There's
moderation,
that common sense again.
that's my like answer to that. Like, what's the moderation for heroin or coke or just a little, you know, just a little heroin is okay, right? As long as it's in moderation. I mean, that's what you said, right?
True. Good point.
No, and actually it's gotten to the point now, like, I mean, I did a shot for my birthday, because it's like, oh, it's my birthday, everyone's doing birthday shots, fine, I'll do a shot to make everyone happy. But I don't care if anyone's happy anymore, like, I'm not drinking just because you want to drink and you feel uncomfortable because I'm not drinking. Not my problem. Don't drink then, be with me. Like, why do I have to change for you? So, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not making anyone happy. At least not in that way, I guess. You know, it's more about just...
Do you find that with food choices too? Like if you're going somewhere out with people and...
Oh yeah, like just you know, it's funny. I think like people actually feel uncomfortable eating in front of me because they know that I'm eating better than them. So it's almost like they try to justify it. Like, oh well, I just can't quit eating meat because I need my protein. And protein only exists in meat. Tell that to the animals you're eating because they don't eat meat. So, but yeah, it's like sometimes people make you feel bad. Sometimes I just don't get invited, which is okay with me, you know. I mean, there's like that Brazilian place, the meat place or whatever. Like,
Steakhouse?
yeah, my family went out there and they didn't invite me, and I'm grateful because I didn't want to sit around and like see a bunch of meat being chopped in front of my face, and I would have to pay a lot of money to eat from a salad bar. So it's not worth it, so I appreciate that. I took no offense to it at all. Like, thanks for not even asking me, because I definitely would have said no. Like, there was no, you assumed right for once, so. Did I say that? That's the one time assumptions actually work. That's okay. But yeah, it is, it's funny though, like even with drinking though, like sometimes like when I'm out drinking, like the more the night goes on, like people really get uncomfortable that I'm not drinking. Because they just, it's out of, I guess it's out of their comfort zone.
Grateful for a designated driver.
I know, but you know what's funny? Sometimes I don't even think of that because like most people are just used to not having a designated driver, which is horrible.
Yeah.
I know, I
This
definitely.
is my designated driver right here.
And I'm sure he's seen the other side of that plenty of times. And I offer that, you know. But I mean, even just, I don't know, you just get weird looks for it because it's like, it's the norm to drink.
Yeah.
Even though it's so bad for you. But it's acceptable.
There is a certain amount of social pressure.
Yeah, there is. But yeah, it took a while to get over it. Like at first I wouldn't even go out drinking because it just felt uncomfortable. And I felt like I had to explain myself to everybody. And everyone's like, oh, did you have a problem? No. It's like, well, then what's your problem?
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you drinking? I'm like, because I don't need to drink to have fun. I've actually said people say they miss drunk Jason. I'm And I'm like, well, if you only liked me when I was drunk, then I'm sorry. Like,
That Jason doesn't
that-
exist anymore.
You know what? He actually still does. He just well, maybe not. not as incoherent, and I can still be goofy and crazy, but it's just I'll remember everything, and I won't have to apologize the next day.
Right, exactly.
Like, I don't know what happened, but I think I'm sorry. So,
It's like, I don't really quite remember, but I'm sure
like,
there's an
I'm
apology.
pretty sure I should say sorry for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that anymore. No regrets. It's freedom. So. Anything else?
Well, I'm going to bid you adieu. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming. I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Nice meeting you all.
You don't have to
Nice
leave.
meeting you.
We can still hang out and talk. Make it a little less me talking to you guys.